Welcome into the Chiefs Report. I am your host, Harrison Graham, back with another show for you guys. Sammy Watkins replacements, that is the topic today. Of course, the Chiefs haven't released Sammy Watkins yet, but that does seem like a very good possibility. Here's what we know. He's set to count over $21 million against the cap in 2020. To make things simple, he will not play at that cap number for the Kansas City Chiefs. Maybe they restructure him, maybe they trade him, but I think the most likely scenario is that he will indeed get released. And if he does, that means the Chiefs need to target another wide receiver either in free agency or in the NFL draft. We all love Sammy Watkins. The Chiefs would like to keep him, but the player like Chris Jones set for free agency, he's kind of the priority, even though they plan to use the franchise tag on him. Now, this is what Watkins did in 2019, kind of an up and down year, 673 yards, all three of his touchdowns in Week 1, almost like a third of his yardage in Week 1 as well. But you see the note below, his playoff numbers, very, very good, almost 100 yards per game and a touchdown, including that key catch over Richard Sherman in the Super Bowl. He's shown up the last two playoff runs for the Chiefs, so it's not easy to move on from Watkins, but you can't pay a number 2 wide receiver $21 million. Should the Chiefs cut Sammy Watkins? Type C for cut, type K for keep. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments section. It's simple for me. You got to cut Sammy Watkins. Thanks for the memories. We're going to move on. We're going to save some money in the end. Now let's get to some replacements. We're going to do 3 free agent options and 3 draft options, starting with free agency. How about Demaryius Thomas? Had a bit of a decent bounce back in 2019. Had the torn Achilles a couple of years ago. Obviously, he's not the player he once was, but he's still a decently productive wide receiver, and that's playing with Sam Darnold and the broken Jets. He can be productive with Patrick Mahomes. Trust me on that one. I think he can be a decent replacement. He's not going to be as explosive as Sammy Watkins, but he's reliable. He has good hands. He can still get open, and he's going to be dirt cheap. Like Watkins cap hit $21 million. You get Demaryius Thomas for $2 or $3 million. He will not cost you that much, and maybe he wants to make another run at a Super Bowl. Look at his last 4 years. Obviously, the last 2 hasn't been as good after he tore that Achilles, but I thought he played a little bit better last year, especially down the stretch. We're not going to see any more 1,000-yard seasons out of Demaryius Thomas. He's older. He's got the injury, but I think if you want a cheap veteran option who knows how to play, Demaryius Thomas is a good option. You look at the depth chart here of the Chiefs, Tyreek Hill. Obviously, we're not showing Travis Kelce. Those are your top 2 options. Sammy Watkins, I think he's obviously a prime cut candidate. That is why we were talking about Watkins replacements on today's show. I'm excited for Mecole Hardman. I don't think Demarcus Robinson will be back either. I think he's going to hit free agency and move on. So we'll see what the wide receiver group looks like moving forward. Demaryius Thomas, my first player I'm looking at in free agency. If he gets cut, if Sammy Watkins gets cut or traded, if he's not on the team next year, who do you want the Chiefs to replace him with? Do you want to go someone in free agency? Do you want to go someone in the draft? We'll get to some draft options in a little bit as well. Type your votes in the comments section. Let me know who you want to replace Sammy Watkins with in 2020. Now, that's a tough question. This should be an easy answer. You should buy this Chiefs polo. Guys, it's 33% off its normal price. Usually $45. Right now, $29.99. You get the Super Bowl logo. It's starting to get a little bit warmer. I know it's still cold in the Midwest, but spring is here. Golf season just around the corner. Perfect game day polo to show off to your friends. Chatsports.com/Chiefs Polo is the link. Just $29.99. These deals don't last forever. The link will be in the comments. It'll be down in the description. Click on it. Take advantage of this polo on sale. Now, some other free agent options I'm not going to spend a lot of time on because they're too expensive. Amari Cooper, Emmanuel Sanders, Robbie Anderson. Unless Sanders maybe, since he's a little bit older, says, screw it, I'll take a lot less to chase the Super Bowl. Sure, 1-year deal, $8 or $9 million, maybe. But someone's still going to pay him $12 or $13 million on the open market for several years. Chiefs aren't going to do that. You might as well just keep Sammy Watkins, who's younger, and only saves you $14 million by cutting him. Robbie Anderson's looking for a big payday, and Amari Cooper's the number 1 receiver on the open market. He might be approaching $20 million. So don't ask me about these guys because they are long shots at best. Taylor Gabriel next up here as we look at some free agent options to replace Sammy Watkins if he is not on the team. Undersized, 5'7", certainly not a physical receiver by any means, but he's versatile. He can play inside, he can play outside. Got banged up last year. I thought the Bears overused him on the outside. I think you got to mix him in the slot as well. Physical corners got up on him last year. Bears released him. His cap hit was a little bit too high. They chose to go that route. I think the Chiefs could certainly use him. He fits the mold of their current receivers. Small, quick, speedy wideouts like a McCole Hardman, like a Tyreek Hill. He fits that mold. You could plug him right in, and he could be part of that rotation. Past 4 years, been pretty solid. Taylor Gabriel had a couple of nice seasons in Atlanta, got paid, was really good in 2018, and that's with Mitch Trubisky, almost 700 yards and a couple of touchdowns. Did have 4 tutties last year in only like 9 or 10 games, but missed a lot of time, only had the 29 catches. I like him as like a number 3 type of receiver. Good speedy player. He can line up in different spots, do some different things. What type of wideout do you want? Do you want a fast, speedy guy? Do you want a physical guy, big body receiver? Kansas City doesn't really have that. I know Travis Kelce's kind of that as the tight end coming out of the slot a lot, but a big physical guy on the outside, if that's what you want, type P for physical. If you want a fast, speedy guy like a Taylor Gabriel, type F for fast. Now, speaking of a physical receiver who has some speed, best of both worlds, Breshad Perriman has finally broken out in the NFL. He was considered a bust for a long time. Tampa takes a chance on him, has a nice season under Bruce Arians down in Tampa. He's entering free agency. He's got that good combination of size and speed. 6'2", 215, 220 pounds, somewhere in that range. I have no idea what his market is. I was talking to my guy Tom Downey here at Chat Sports. I was like, what do you think Breshad Perriman would make? Because I think it's somewhere between $5 and $11 million per year. And he was like, dude, that sounds about right, because he's only had the one pretty good season. A lot of that production the last month of the season. So is he a one-hit wonder? Did he catch lightning in a bottle? Or is he finally blossoming into a big play receiver who averages 18 yards a catch and has 6 touchdowns as a number 3 receiver in Tampa? He's intriguing. Obviously, playing with Patrick Mahomes versus Jameis Winston, you're going to get a lot of good opportunities. I'm intrigued by it. I just want to know what the price is. Can you get him for 2 years and $15 million, 7.5 per? If you can, I think that is definitely a worthwhile option for Kansas City. Now, should the Chiefs draft or sign a wide receiver? Type D for draft, type S for sign. We'll get to some draft options in a minute. Just went through 3 free agent options. If you think it's draft, type D. If you think it's S, type sign. While you're doing that, why don't you go ahead and get subscribed to the Chiefs Report. You see the link below if you're watching on our main Chat Sports YouTube channel. If you're watching on our Chiefs channel, you saw it first because we posted it there first. Go ahead and hit the big red button. We'll have off-season coverage. Here's some of the stuff we've been doing recently. We got the latest rumors. Could Chris Harris be a free agent option? I had my top 15 free agent targets recently thrown up on the channel as well. We got news. We got mailbags. Use hashtag Chiefs down in the comments. We'll answer as many of your questions on our next Q&A. Lots of different types of videos up on the channel. We're going to keep plugging away throughout this offseason. YouTube.com/ChiefsTV. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button once you get over there. All right, let's go to some draft options. Denzel Mims, who I thought tore the combine up. I don't like overreacting to the combine, but good physical player at Baylor who took a step back in 2018, but bounced forward in 2019, was really, really good. Catch radius off the charts. He doesn't always get open, but you kind of just throw it high and he catches it, right? Like, he's that type of player, and he has good straight line speed. 40-yard dash at the combine, 4.38. Like, I don't want to compare him to DK Metcalf, but it's kind of similar, right? Like, he's not going to run all the different routes, but he's a good vertical option. He can run curls. He can do a couple of the simple stuff. He's not going to run, a lot of double routes or anything like that. But if he's your number 2 or 3 option on the outside and is getting a lot of one-on-one looks, Denzel Mims is a good player with good production and had a really, really good combine. I think he could be an option for Kansas City. I don't know if they would use their first-round pick for him, but if he's there in round 2, I think that's certainly a home run option. Who's your favorite wide receiver in the NFL draft? Let me know. For me, Jerry Jeudy. I love Jeudy. Super sharp, great route runner, smart kid, gets in the classroom. He knows what he's doing, studies film. He's quick. He's got good enough speed. Yeah, he doesn't do great in the little 3-cone drills and all that crap. Turn on the tape. He is absolutely terrific. The reason I'm not putting him up on here, he's not going to be available where the Chiefs are drafting. He is my favorite receiver in this draft. Now, if you want to make some bets on either the XFL, the NBA, or NFL win totals for 2020, you you got to do it at BetDSI. Chatsports.com/bet. That will get you to the sign-up page. Use that promo code NFL120 to get that 120% deposit bonus. Put down $100, get $120 for free. I put down $100 before the NFL season. I got a ton of money left over, and I've made a ton of bets because of that 120% deposit bonus. Take advantage. Chatsports.com/bet. All right, next player here, Higgins out of Clemson. Another big body option like Denzel Mims. Not great speed, but good enough. I think he's a prototypical 10-year number 2 wide receiver. I don't think his upside is huge. I don't think he'll ever be a number 1 receiver, but I think he'll be a great number 2 for a long, long time. He's a high floor, not super high ceiling type of player. Safe pick here if they were to get Higgins. Wins more often than not on 50-50 balls. Great jump ball catcher. Similar to Mims, doesn't always get a lot of separation, but he catches everything. Just really, really solid across the board. A little bit more developed as far as a route runner than Mims. Also, the production you see the last 2 years, over 2,000 yards combined, 25 touchdowns. I like the yards per catch this year, almost 20. Now, playing with Trevor Lawrence helps. Probably the best quarterback in college football, not named Joe Burrow last year, but he is a good vertical option. Patrick Mahomes throws the ball well downfield. I think that would be a great fit. Now, pick a wide receiver, Denzel Mims or Higgins. Type M for Mims, type H for Higgins. Obviously, these are these bigger body options, not the just pure burners who can be used in gadget ways. I think it would be a different look for the Chiefs, one of these guys. Pick between these two. I think they're in similar range as far as the draft goes. Mims certainly helped his draft stock at the NFL Combine. Last guy here, we've talked about him a couple of times, Jalen Reagor. I'm a little bit impartial. I went to TCU, but it also means I've watched a lot of his games. Very fast, twitchy player. Yeah, he didn't test that well in some of the running stuff at the Combine. Ran a 4.47. I thought he'd be in the high 4.3s, but he also bulked up too much. 206. He usually plays at 195, 198. I think he got some info to say, hey, bulk up so you're over 200 pounds. We see it all the time with the Combine. Don't worry about it. Turn on the tape. He's got great game speed. Versatile player. He lined up at running back some, jet sweep guy, special teams. He can do a lot of different stuff, and he's very similar to the players the Chiefs already have at wide receiver. Hardman, Hill, a little bit more size than both of those guys. He can go deep. He can go underneath. He runs pretty good routes. I like his production. He's really good on end arounds also. Yeah, last year, not as the stats weren't there, but if you watch TCU football at all, the quarterback play has not been pretty the past couple of years. I think he's going to be really good if he gets into the right offense. I think he would be a dream with Patrick Mahomes, especially on those broken plays where Mahomes avoids a sack, rolls out, and finds someone streaking deep. He's very similar to Sammy Watkins in that regard. I think he would be an ideal replacement in the NFL draft. I asked it before. I want to ask it again. If Watkins gets cut, who do you want to replace him with? Lots of guys in the draft. Not as many in free agency, but certainly a few options out there. Go ahead and cast your votes down below. Who do you want to replace Sammy Watkins with in 2020 if he gets cut? Now, again, here were some of the free agent options. Demaryius Thomas, Taylor Gabriel, Breshad Perriman. Those are some three wide receivers that you can go in free agency. I like Perriman out of these three the most just because it's a physical body. It would offer a different look on the outside. I would go in that direction. Demaryius Thomas a little bit older. If you want to go super cheap, that is the route there. Taylor Gabriel, more of a gadget type of player. In the draft, Denzel Mims, Higgins, and Jalen Reagor. Reagor fits the mold of the receivers they currently have, but Higgins, Mims, more of those physical receivers on the outside. These 6 players are the guys I am looking at to possibly replace Sammy Watkins in the 2020 NFL season.